Get in, chop.
I'm a bit self-aware, sometimes it's fucked up, but life is gonna lie, so I ain't gonna slow up. I'm on a mission to change the face of mental health, kicking knowledge to my people, cause you know that health is wealth. It's your lucky day, cause you tuned into the greatest. Out here striving to survive, sometimes we fake it till we make it. If your mental health is slipping, then please don't touch that dial, go and grab a cup of tea. Yo, what's up, you guys? It's your girl, Trudy LPC, and thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of the Self-Aware and Effed Up podcast. You guys, this season has been crazy. Like, there's so many different great guests that I've had, and I've been looking forward to this particular episode for a couple of months now. So I can't wait to speak with today's guest. Her name is Erica Harry. She's a licensed marriage and family therapist. We're going to be talking about sex today because she's also a sex therapist as well. And I'm really interested in learning more about that part of her journey as well. But in addition to all of that, she does speaking engagements. She is also a sex health educator, works a lot with nonprofits and doing a lot of great things out there for the community. I really love her spirit. I've not known her, but I've known of her for very many years over the course of working together at a particular agency. And so I'm really interested in learning more about who she is as a person outside of the accolades and the degrees and the certifications. I just want to get to know her today. And I want you guys to be able to get to know her with me today. So she is the owner of the Intimacy Experience, and I'll let her tell you more about what she does and what she's going to get ready to do with that part of her journey within her career exploration. So without further ado, please welcome to the Self-Aware and Effed Up podcast, Erica Harry. Hey, Erica, how's it going?
It's wonderful. It's so good to be here. I am so excited to get a chance to talk to you. We've been knowing of each other for a long time, and this is our opportunity to actually have a get to know you session, especially being self-aware and effed up.
Right.
Yes.
Well, I'm the queen of self-aware and fucked up. So I'm trying to figure out your self-aware and fucked up story. But before we even get into all of that, just want to know a little bit about you. Like, can we just share a little bit about who you are?
Yeah. So, of course, I'm Erica. I'm originally from New Orleans, but I've been living. Yes. So I've been living here in Atlanta for over 20 years. I am still a New Orleans Saints fan till I die. So I don't care how long I've been. I know.
Falcons. And I got on my red today. That was
Yes, you do. But I will say I do love the Atlanta Braves. I love the Braves team. And I love the culture of Atlanta. So I've been here for over 20 years. I actually came here because I was going to work on my PsyD degree, my doctorate in clinical psych, but that didn't work out, and other things happened where I decided to go for licensure at the master level. So that's how I ended up actually in Atlanta. I was studying for my clinical psych degree, PhD, PsyD degree. Mm-hmm.
That's what's up.
A little bit more about me. I come from a 2-parent conservative Christian home. And I have 2 other siblings who are older than me. So I'm the baby. And so my dad was a minister of music for many, many years. So that plays a huge part in how I grew up and what I thought about things. And I really thought I had a different view of Christianity and spirituality back then than I do now. Now that I'm self-aware.
I love that. So you were kind of pre-K and what is it called? PK?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. PK, they call us MKs, minister kids.
Minister kids.
So,
okay.
Yeah. So I was a part of the MKs, and, you had to do things a certain way, and you had to look a certain way and act a certain way. And so for me, my life, really changed, it really changed, not changed, but it's been a roller coaster ride because the expectations of of ministers' kids is you're in the church, you're supposed to wait to have sex, you're supposed to get married to the love of your life, you're supposed to have 2.5 kids, and I say 0.5 because we got to add the dog. So you're supposed to have 2.5 kids, and you're supposed to live happily ever after.
Yeah. So you had a lot of expectations put on you.
A lot of expectations, and none of that crap happened.
Oh, okay.
So I consider myself a unicorn. Yeah, a unicorn.
That has a lot of different meanings, right?
Okay, so let me explain my unicorn, because you're right. that could turn into something. So what I mean by unicorn is the very things that supposed to work in line and in tandem didn't work out in my life the way that it was supposed to. Okay. I actually wanted to be a medical doctor, and I instead biochemistry and physics told me otherwise.
Okay.
This is not the way you want to go. So I ended up falling in love with psychology in college. And shout out to Xavier University. That's my alma mater. Okay. Woohoo, HBCU.
I love that for you.
So yeah, and one of the beautiful things that I had the opportunity in my bachelor's program, I had the opportunity to sit under, her name was Yolanda Dubose. She is the granddaughter of Dr. W.E.B. Dubose. And she was a clinical psychologist, and she was my abnormal psych and testing and measurements teacher. And she's not with us here, but she's with us in spirit. But I absolutely loved her. She was really tough, but she was amazing.
Yeah. I love that. Abnormal psych and behavior pathology are like my favorites just in general. So I would have been fangirling in there for sure. Yeah. So you got into moving into psych, like you fell in love with psych, and then what happened?
Like,
how did we get here?
Okay, so what I loved about I love psych, but what I really love, my parents are still married, and they've been married for well over 57 years.
Oh wow.
And back then, there was a lot going on with, at that time, they were saying the percentages of marriages were like 56% of marriages were substantial, but then there was the other half that was not. And so I ended up deciding I wanted to do marriage and family therapy because I wanted to help families, marriages, and relationships improve, because I felt like, man, what are we doing in our relationships? Where are we going with this? And I came from a Christian background, and it was the evangelical Christian. So it was, it was very serious. Like, women didn't have any agency over their bodies, and their husbands had agency over their bodies. And so I was like, wait a minute, this is not right. And I ended up going to the University of, what is now called the University of Louisiana in Monroe, Louisiana. And they have a marriage and family therapy program. And it was the most, by far, amazing marriage and family therapy program. And it's a little different now, but like back then you had to sit, and we had our own clinic. And so you sat behind a one-way mirror, and your supervisor was there. It was,
that was the olden days. You aging yourself, Erica.
I love that. It is what it is, honey. And so, make a long story short, with that, I actually, in that program, I actually started, because we could do different tracks of marriage and family therapy. You could do a general track, you could do the sex therapy track, or you could do, A&D, alcohol and drug track. And so I decided back then that I wanted to do sex therapy, but I wasn't confident enough, and I allowed my religion to create more fear in me to actually go into that, because as a single woman back then, it's like, what are you doing talking about sex? You're single, you're not married, you don't have a man. And, back then, if I was married, it would be fine. Yeah. Still today, the taboo, if I'm married, I could talk about anything because I'm married, and it gives me a certain amount of power. Right. But that's the unicorn that I'm talking about, which is I didn't follow that path, the expected path of you get married and now you can talk about sex because you have lived experience in that in the right way.
Gotcha. Yeah. So you felt like because of your background and because of being raised in this environment where you had these expectations, you couldn't really even follow your passion.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It took me a long time to actually decide to come back to getting certified as a sex therapist. And when I did, I told my family and I told my mom and dad on camera, and my mom did this.
Oh, wow.
What?
Okay.
So my dad, he looks at my mom like, oh my God, she's
shaking.
And so my dad, he was like, and what's the part of marriage and family therapy? Because a lot of marriages fall prey to lots of things.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But in my life and what I enjoy, I had a really good, honestly, I could say I had a really good childhood, socialized really well. I had good relationships with my cousins and went to schools, some private school, public school. So yeah, I felt like overall I had a really good childhood. So I can't say that my childhood was like, oh, it was messed up. But when I became self-aware was when I grew up and had to go out in the wild, because my family and the church, all of those were protective factors. And then when I had to make certain decisions, it was like, what do I do now? How do I manage this? And people can tell you this is what you're supposed to do, and this is what the Bible says. But when you're in situations, you're like, oh, wait, what is? I'm in a situation with a guy that I like, and I like. What am I going to do now?
So how did you push through that though? Because like a lot of times when we have these things ingrained in us, like I grew up Southern Baptist, and I was in church every single week, and
that's right.
Twice on Sunday, sometimes Bible study on Tuesday, choir rehearsal on Wednesday. Like I was raised in that environment. And so for me, my journey with even coming out as queer, like that was a big thing for me. Like, so for you breaking out of like, because we ain't even talking about we're talking about career. Like we're like that barrier. How did you break through? Like, you know what? Fuck that. I'm not going to allow this box. I'm going to allow myself to be put in a box. Like you said, you didn't have the confidence. You didn't have all of this. How did you get there to the point to say, fuck this. I'm going to do what I want to do?
I went to therapy and I started really paying attention to my own walk with my relationship with God. And I started paying attention to how others was using the Bible as a means of power. And so then I started saying, no, you know what? F this. I'm not doing that. I'm going to do things the way I see fit in my connection with God. Because at the end of the day, judgment comes from Him, not from, and people are going to judge you. And what I had to let go of was the people pleasing. And I had to let go of, wanting to do things right, because according to, if you do it right, you're going to be successful. And here I am looking at people who are doing it all kind of crazy ways and doing well.
Right.
Very, very well. And so I'm like, wait a minute. Here I am, because I wanted to be the good girl and I wanted to be the nice girl. And I was like, F that. Nice is not working.
Yeah.
It wasn't working. Yeah. It was not working. So I made some changes.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you were able to work through that, because I think that not being able to do your passion, I think sometimes it feels like you're not fully you when you're not able to live fully in that part of what you desire. Because
Exactly. And one of the real basic issues that I had to get over was that I'm a whole person without a man.
Yeah.
Because the sentiment in some of these environments is you're not whole until you have a partner, or you're not whole until you get married.
Yeah.
And that's not true. I'm whole. Yeah. I'm complete.
Yeah. It can be hard to get to that space though, because that's something that we were taught, like for me growing up, I was taught that like your life needs to look this type of way. They was like, yeah, we want you to be with boys, but we don't want you getting pregnant before a certain time. Like it's all of those things that kind of got put out there for us to be. So how did you get to the space of like, you know what? I don't need this. I can just be me and I can still pursue whatever I want to pursue without having to have a man to make me complete or to make me a real person, I guess, because that's really how it comes. I was like, I'm not a real person unless I'm with a man.
Exactly. That's exactly it. You are on point. Like I had to really do a lot of self-reflection and reflecting on who am I as a person and what makes me complete, what makes me whole, what makes me happy. Yes, would I love to be in a marriage? I still would love to be in a marriage. But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't mean I'm incomplete. And that was the long journey. And it took a lot of messing up in relationships. It took a lot of being angry. I got angry with my parents. I got angry with God. I got angry with myself. A lot of that, I was angry with me because I felt like I wasn't being me. I wasn't being whole. I wasn't being the loving, kind, yet firm person, yet the person that says to people, even people in the church, my mom's friends were asking her, how is Erica in that, career and she's single?
What?
Yes. Oh yeah, it goes deep. And it and that's recent years. I'm not talking like way back then. I'm talking recent years.
That's
when I really came out with this with being a certified sex therapist. Yeah. A lot of people in the church were like,
yeah. So what's your relationship like with church, like with managing that, being in those spaces?
Well, because I have multiple jobs, one of my jobs, I work at night. So I wasn't able to go to church. I hadn't been able to go to church for a long time, but that didn't mean I didn't keep up, like reading. And I spent lots of time in Bible studies, things like that. So my relationship with church is different in the sense that I don't believe that I have to be in church every Sunday. I don't believe that I have to fulfill the choir. I have to be in the choir like I was before. Don't believe I have to be on the praise team just to have connection with God like I was before. So I believe that you don't have to, when you've established a foundation in a relationship with God already, I think the church is designed to keep that going and keep that flow going, especially for those who really struggle. And church is designed for community. It's a good community. It can be a good community. It can be a support. It can be a support even at the basis of childhood. Because I started going to like children's church. We had children's church back then, like what the children could do stuff, So I think those are wonderful things. I just think as I've developed my own relationship with God and connections, and I've got lots of things that are going on in my world. I'm not always present in church, but that doesn't mean that God isn't always present with me.
Yeah. No, I love that. piece of your journey? Because that's something that I've kind of dealt with over the years.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, girl, I was in church every Sunday. From childhood all the way up, honestly. Like I went through a rebellious stage, like maybe 10, 11, where I was like, I'm not going to church. I'm tired of this or whatever. But, you know what they say, train them up in the way that they should go. When they're
They
old,
should go and they won't depart.
Yeah. So I returned and I departed again. But it ain't have nothing to do with my grandmother them. That was church hurt, and that's all of that other stuff.
Yeah, we have it. I've experienced church hurt myself. I've been in 4 major churches, and of the 4 major churches, 2 of the pastors had to take scandal.
Yeah, that's at least one of 2. 2 of mine too. So
yeah,
it was,
so I
gotcha.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think that, God is always with us. Like we have to have that personal relationship. And that's been my journey. I haven't been to church in I stopped going to church in 2000 I think it was 2015. And it was because that was the year, it was in June. That was a year that the Defense of Marriage Act was deemed unconstitutional and gay marriage became legal. And it was just one Sunday. I was like, I do not feel like going to church because I do not feel like them making this sermon about gay people today. Like when I come, I'm coming for the word. I'm not coming for your agenda. I'm not coming for all of that. And honestly, I just never went back after that.
Gotcha.
And that was my, I don't know, but I also worked overnights too. So I had that experience.
Me too. But
it was like, yeah.
So I definitely get it. And church hurt can be, that's a thing that can be so damaging to people where it sends them right out of the church, and not in a way like you and I have a foundation, but sometimes church hurt can send people out of the church where they literally hate the church. They can't stand it. It becomes very, and it's really sad. And a lot of times I think part of it is that we don't do enough discipleship. Like we don't do enough of really encouraging people to know that this world is not perfect. There's nothing in this world that's going to be perfect. I don't care how you look at it. Nothing in this world is going to be perfect. So for someone to say, well, you need to do it this way because me and my husband, or me and this and this. No. And I think that the struggle with church is we're so judgmental as if we have it all together. And it takes one small thing to blow up your spot.
Exactly. Yeah.
One small thing. And people are like, oh no, like the men in church, sometimes we know they watching porn every day.
Not porn, but yes, they are.
Okay, I'm gonna move off of that.
No. Listen, hey, we can talk. This is the space we can talk about whatever.
But that's what I'm. In terms of church, I'm talking in terms of church hurt.
Yeah,
there are a lot of people who get hurt by church, not because there's this persona that certain things have to go a certain way. Like women can't have agency over their own bodies. That belongs to the man. And people preach this so hard. I'm like, well, does the man know what a vulva is?
Yeah. But in 2026, though, this is still the messaging in 2026. I mean, I ain't been to church. I haven't been to church in 10 plus years.
Christians are still pushing that, because what they do is they take the Bible in the context of, well, the man is over her body and she doesn't, like women shouldn't have agency over their bodies when they have a husband. And I'm saying my first question to a guy who's getting married is, do you know what a vulva is? And if he can't ask me that, why does he have to have agency over her? You don't know what that is. And my basic principle in life is, if you don't know the purpose of a thing, you are bound to abuse it.
Yeah.
You are bound to abuse it.
Yeah. Well, you asking the right questions. I'm over here like, hell, do I know what a vulva is? But that's
But you know what? It is basic sex education. And this is the stuff our parents don't teach us about our bodies. What did you learn when you were 2, 3, 4, and 5? This is your nose. These are your eyes. This is your mouth. This is your chest. These are your hands. What happened to the middle part of my body?
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. Don't get pregnant. That's what they tell you.
Exactly. Definitely heard that a lot. Definitely. Yeah.
Don't bring no babies home. And that was your sex education.
Yeah. Now, we had sex education in school, but of course they ain't breaking it down like that, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, in church, it was just very different in the experience that I had growing up. For sure.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's who I am. Actually, I've developed a better relationship in terms of myself and God and understanding who I am as it relates to him and others. And now I don't really need to please or as much. You say that it's a journey.
Yeah.
And I love becoming the person that I am.
Yeah.
And that was hard to accept because I was also a heavy girl. I wasn't a skinny girl. So on top of that, it was like I had the weight issue of, well, you know, you're not going to demand if you're fat and you're not going to, you know, you're not the, luckily I have told, you're pretty for a chocolate girl.
What? That's wild in this age and era.
Back then, you know, I heard a lot of that.
I mean, they still say it now. It's not going away. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And we say it to each other.
We do, which is unfortunate because I think we just get pulled into that. Like I still think the fact that we have colorism still within African American Black BIPOC communities is crazy to me. But yeah.
What I will say about my personality, and a lot of people, it's like, oh, Erica's so sweet and nice. I am definitely a Taurus, and I said this even at work. I am not one to mess. I don't start, but I'll finish it.
Okay, Taurus, I'm hearing that. Well, this is big Sagittarius energy over here, and I appreciate you kind of giving me a little bit more insight into who you are. Your journey is definitely an interesting one. And I didn't share this earlier. Like I did not grow up a PK, but my mom is a minister now. She became a minister like in the mid 2000s. And that has been a journey all by itself.
Yeah. I'm sure it was, because considering, you know, your relationship and how that might have sparked some things.
Yeah. So just quick, I know the audience knows this, but just quick for your reference points. I was raised by my great grandmother and my aunt. My mom was in prison when I was in the 80s when I was growing up.
Yeah.
And so she kind of, you know, after getting off drugs and finding God, you know, addicts switch addictions. So you go from this addiction to Jesus addiction. And luckily now she's in the era where she's kind of balanced that out. I heard her talk about the universe a couple of months ago, and I was like, oh, okay. Who the fuck is this? But it was nice. It was nice. But I want to shift gears just a little bit because, you know, you're a sex therapist and I want to use your expertise because some people had some questions when I polled them. So I got a couple things I want to throw at you. So what's something people assume about being a sex therapist that couldn't be further from the truth?
Oftentimes people assume that sex therapists are sex workers. So they think that we are, you know, like we actually have sex with, you know, people who we don't know. And, you know, that lifestyle. There's an underground that that we know about. Sex therapists know the underground world and that all might partake in those worlds.
Interesting.
And so some of the underground world that I'm talking about would be like your BDSM community, your kink community, poly community, queer community. That we all got a little bit of foot in all of those. Sometimes they're like, well, do you know about this? Or, you know, I've had guys who are really like, if I told them what I did, they're like they felt like they couldn't date me because I know too much, and I do, but they tend to believe that, you know, I'm swinging from the chandeliers and freaking out everybody and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
I mean, you know, some of y'all, I'm just playing.
And some of us are. Listen, there's always the percentage of those of us who enjoy this sex therapy because we are also working through a journey of our own.
That is fair.
And so, yeah. And so my journey in sex therapy personally was that I was taught back in the day, like, there are certain things you don't do.
Okay, what are those things you don't do? You can't be just throwing it out there.
Yes. Well, you told me, you know, I can be open here. So there are things that I think are okay for people to explore. I do believe that it's okay to explore kinks and BDSM, and if you're a part of the LGBTQ community, you want to explore your sexuality. I believe you are open to do that. Our history and our background, especially in the African American community, oftentimes we've been told don't do certain things because we've been sexualized in the past and in history. And so as a result, it's like, okay, we have this dichotomy of we've been sexualized in other communities, but then our community is like, okay, since that happened, it's like, okay, well, you know, keep your sexuality under the grid because, you know, we don't want you to deal with that. And so,
yeah,
I'm saying for me, it's okay. So if I want to explore, you know, BDSM, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the openness. Like every season, I always have a sex therapist come on because I think that, especially in BIPOC communities, we don't talk about sex in healthy ways enough. Like we can look at memes and we can look at funny videos, but do we actually have real conversations? And a lot of what you do is really like, even with educating people about sexual health, I think that those are important conversations for us to be able to have. One thing that kind of stood out to me was just like this conversation around like intimacy. Like a lot of times it's just that physical act that sometimes, like, you know, you know, kids out there, curiosity about sex is it's an action, you know?
Yeah.
Do you feel like people carry that mindset into sex as adults? And do you feel like that impacts how people connect?
I think intimacy is one of the biggest challenges in relationships. Intimacy is more of my passion than actually sex. And I think intimacy is so important. I think it is just as important as whatever your foundational belief is in terms of whether it's your orientation or whether it's your gender or whether it is how you see yourself in relationships. For instance, I consider myself a monogamer, right? But if at that foundational level, I think intimacy should also be just as foundational. And what we do is we tend to treat intimacy as a luxury. So, if I don't want to be intimate with my partner, I don't have to be. It's okay. But I guarantee you, if you and your partner say, hey, we're monogamous, right? And one day they wake up and go, I don't want to be monogamous. You're like, wait a minute, that's foundational. That's what we believe. But guess what? We don't have that foundational conversation when we wake up and go, I don't want to participate in connecting with my partner. That should be foundational.
Yeah.
But we treat it like a luxury. Like, Okay. And I don't feel like it. And what happens is we get comfortable in our relationship and we get comfortable with, okay, we're going to be this way or do this way. And we're not educated in terms of what intimacy encompasses. And we think intimacy is just having sex, the physical act of sex or the physical act of of connecting in physical ways. But there's so much more to intimacy than that. There's the emotional connection part. There's the sensual connection part. Like there are things that you could be doing with your partner. There are rituals that you and your partner can have that is just designed for you two. There are going to be things that you will do your partner, you will not do with someone else. And I don't care if you're and there's some part, even in poly communities. I work with poly community. I work with LGBTQ community. And so it's important. Intimacy is truly important. To me, it's foundational. And if we treated it as if it was just as foundational as like our monogamy or our being poly or monogamous, then I think we would have much more satisfying relationships and connection. It takes work. There's, you might have heard the statement, marriage is hard, divorce is hard, singleness is hard. Choose your heart.
Right. Marriage is definitely hard.
Yeah. Intimacy is hard. But it's foundational. And it's something that not once, but as you start creating intimacy, what's beautiful about it, it can change over the life of your relationship. Yeah. It doesn't look the same if you're in your 20s and 30s than when you're in your 40s and 50s. It does not.
No. I definitely can relate to that. A lot of different levels. I think that the biggest piece sometimes people miss with intimacy is like how to actually build it, because we have, it's a different world these days. You have people working, different schedules, or you have people trying to figure out like, how am I going to still prioritize time with my spouse when I got to take care of these kids? Like, how do you recommend people kind of build that when they have lives that are very different and sometimes disconnected?
Well, I think part of it is there should be consistent conversation about what we stop doing is we stop talking about it. Okay. So we talk about, my spouse is important. Or we've got these, we've got to get these kids to school and we've got all these other things going on. And so what happens is we get in the bed at night and we say, yeah, we got to get the kids, and we talk about the kids, but then we stop talking about us.
Fuck them kids.
Them kids. Exactly.
I just wanted to say that. That was
and it was so on point. F them kids. And that's what we really do. And not to say, ignore them or whatever, but F them kids, create some spaces of boundaries with your kids, because that's one of the things that I talk about with parenting and intimacy. You can't have intimacy if you letting your kids come to you at any given time. Every need has to be fulfilled by you as the parent. That you need to create a boundary with that. I have parents who I work with and their kids will open the door in the bathroom while they're using the bathroom. Mom, I got it. Da, 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 da. You need your own intimacy time in the bathroom.
Right.
Even if you're just sitting there, just like, oh, shoot, I got to think about stuff. I got to get my mind right, or you're taking a shower. Mom, can I? No, Stop that. But yes, this happens. Yeah. So we got to start talking about it. We got to, we'll prioritize it. We'll talk about it. Then we'll stop. Then we'll just go through life. And then we find 1, 2 years, 3 years go by. And I can assure you, years go by because you've stopped talking about it. You stop making it a priority. You got to continuously make it a priority by spending, even if it's 10 minutes a night or 5 minutes in the morning, and you guys are grabbing a cup of coffee together. Making sure you also create list of gratitude for each other. You know what? I'm really grateful for my partner. You know what? We work a lot. We don't see each other a lot, but I just wanted to stop you and tell you how much you really mean to me. I really appreciate you. Letting people know it doesn't have to be we're smashing all the time, but letting the person know in physical ways, in conversation, in little notes. You guys could be sexting if you want to, blow up the spot later on, start sexting each other at work, but sometimes it gets so hard, like your mind is so distracted because oftentimes life happens and we get so distracted with everything else. We lose the priority of our partner. And to me, again, if you don't have the partnership and you're dealing with these kids, you're going to be dealing with these kids by yourself.
That part. I'll be working with couples and I'll be like, trying to tell them, fuck them kids. And they like, well, no. And I'm like, okay, well, we'll see what happens 5 years from now, 10 years from now.
Exactly. I want to share something else with regard to intimacy. The other thing that happens with intimacy, and this is what I see a lot in my practice, is some disorders and dysfunctions and irregularities. So people have physical stuff that goes on. For women, we have low sex desire. It's huge. It's huge in our, when you start turning 40 and plus, low sex desire can become a big thing for us because that's what we're losing hormones to. Erectile disorders for men, that's becoming very prevalent even at young ages. And I'm talking 20s and 30s here. Yeah. We're not talking, back in the day, you're like, oh, grandpa got ED. Okay. Yeah. Well, he old,
Grandpas these days, they different.
Oh, honey, they are different.
That's Cialis, whatever it's called. Anyway.
But yeah. And the reason why I talk about the medical portion is because I, in my own story, in my own journey, I had some medical issues. I had fibroids and I had endometriosis, and come to find out I couldn't have kids. And that was one of the most devastating things that I had to deal with.
Yeah.
Because at that point, that's when it really, really hurt. And I didn't feel like a woman at that point.
Yeah. That's a really tough space to be in. I've gone through that with a friend, actually. And it's hard. It's hard to watch. I don't know if you've ever done the IVF journey, but those sort of things are really difficult to even watch someone go through when they're not getting the outcome, especially when they have a strong desire to be a mother. So I hate hearing that part of your journey.
Yeah. I didn't go through IVF because part of my journey was I went through 3 different surgeries for fibroids.
Yeah.
3. And the final surgery, my doctor was like, there's no need for you to keep your uterus at this point.
Wow.
And that was devastating.
Yeah. So how do you go kind of from dealing with your personal experience of that, which again, like you said, is devastating, to being able to still help people the way that you're able to help people with their journeys?
Well, it's my passion for people to love and to have the things that they want. And even though I couldn't have what I want, I got over, I won't say that I got over not having kids. I still look at little kids and be like, oh, I want to hold them and kiss them and love them. I do that. But then, as I get older, I'm like, F them kids.
That's me right there.
But what I will say is it springboarded my passion even more to help people in the area of sexual health and wellness, because it's not something, and this is the first time I actually openly said that in terms of my medical journey. But it springboarded me to support people who want to have these loving relationships, have a strong connection and intimacy, and be able to have kids. I want those women who struggle with low sex desire. I'm like, I don't want to, but I want to have a kid. They still want to have a kid, but they have low sex desire. Or the guy who struggles with ED, like, I can't get it up. And, I want them to win. I want people to win. I want people, because at my core, I want people to win in relationships. I want them to win.
And I'm sure that's what makes you a great therapist, because everybody's not built to do with you what you do. It's not like them couples be wearing my ass out when I get her. I'll be like, look, let me make this referral, baby, because I ain't gonna be able to do it. Yeah.
I absolutely love my couples. I love my individuals who come. There are women who come because they want to take this journey by themselves and really learn how to improve. And they manage to learn how to handle the low sex desire and learn what accelerates them, what breaks them, as in, what stops them from wanting to want to, what accelerates them to want to. So we talk a lot about that in therapy. Yeah. But I will tell you, doing sex therapy is definitely related to my personal journey, medical journey of not being able to have kids. And that's another part of my unicorn, being a unicorn. I've never been married, always wanted to be, never had kids, wanted them. And yet I still love and want people to win.
Yeah. I think that speaks to your heart. That speaks to your heart, because I'd be like, nah, fuck all of that.
All y'all can get it.
Y'all care about this shit. Y'all gotta be fucked. Anyway, nevertheless. So I want to shift gears a little bit, and I appreciate you. I know you said this is the first time you've kind of shared this part of your journey, and I appreciate you feeling safe enough to share that in this space with me. But I want to switch gears a little bit, and I want to know, how do you personally connect with the idea of being self-aware and fucked up?
I love that. I love the title of that, because part of understanding that you're effed up is you got to be self-aware, because a lot of people are out here and they are now self-aware that they are effed up, and they just go about their business thinking like, oh yeah, I'm this. And I'm like, no, you're not. You are effed up. Just like me, I'm effed up. And part of my journey of recognizing that was, I got angry about the fact that I was people pleasing. I wanted these things. I was so angry. And then when I became aware of, like, who are you really? What do you really want? I wanted these things. And when I couldn't have the things that I want, that's when I realized, you really are messed up. You need to get your shit together. And it's a journey. It really is a journey. And what I learned was, this journey takes a lifetime, because just as you become self-aware about one thing, something else is going to pop up, because life has so many twists and turns. But what I learned more than anything, and like I said, I love the title, is you first got to recognize that. And sometimes people recognize that they effed up and then they become self-aware. It's like, man, this is effed up. And then they go to treatment and be like, oh, wait, that's on me?
Yeah.
That's on me. Yes, that's on you. And that's when I'm like, oh, yeah. So whether you are self-aware first and realize you're effed up, or whether you are effed up and realize you're self-aware, what's important is that you get there. Because that makes a difference. That's the catalyst for change to me. I love that title. That's a catalyst for change. So for me, I felt like I was more self-aware. Then when I realized how effed up my situations were, that's when I was like, oh, that's me. That's not them. But I keep blaming them. No, that's on you, Erica. That's on you. Why you keep going with the same dude? And You just have a different name, but same thing. Yeah. Oh, that's me. Yeah, that's you. You effed up. Oh.
Yeah. We always got to do the work. We always got to put that mirror up to ourselves. That's the one thing. I will always be in therapy. It's the mandatory part of my life, because I feel like there's always something that I might miss, and I can't hear it from everybody. But my therapist, I trust her with my life.
Yep.
And so, yeah. Well, I appreciate you sharing that part of your journey and just your openness. I really enjoyed talking to you and getting to know a little bit more about you today. So how can they connect with you? How can they reach out if they want to use your services? They want to book you for a speaking engagement and do all the things that you do. How can they connect with you?
Okay. So, one of the things I'm into right now, I have, my Instagram is The Intimacy Experience. So it's THE. Look, now I'm getting lost in intimacy. INTIMACY experience. I'm The Intimacy Experience on Instagram. My email address is eharry@connectioninstitute.net. So that's my email. And they can always call me at 770-648-4948. How come I can't remember that stuff? Right? Right on cue, but 770-648-4948 is the phone number to reach out to me if you want to book me for a speaking engagement. If you want to book a consultation, you can call me there. I'm also on Psychology Today. You'll find me there. And one of the things I did want to add is one of my other passions is I do have a passion for men with prostate health. That is super important to me. So I do volunteer work in that area, and I work with, shout out to David Moffat. He is a veteran as well as the founder of a nonprofit called Courage and Strength. It's for men, and now he has a women division. But the men division, he focuses on prostate health, and they have groups and stuff like that. So I go and speak to them every now and then. So. Okay. But that's my passion. And of course, all things sex therapy, polys, LGBTQ, kink, and BDSM. Yes.
All right.
So thank you for that.
I will be sending people your way, because clearly. But I so appreciate your time again. Please, definitely look forward to continuing to connect in the future. Guys, please make sure that you connect with Erica. The information for how you can connect with her will be in the description of this episode. Also, be sure to follow me, Tree the LPC, on all social media platforms under the handle Tree the LPC. Until next time, be safe, be well, and make sure that you take care of your motherfucking mental health.
Yo, get in, chop. I'm a bit self-aware. Sometimes it's fucked up, but life is gonna lie. So I ain't gonna slow up. I'm on a mission to change the face of mental health. Kicking knowledge to my people, cause you know that health is wealth. It's your lucky